Ready?
Yeah.
Alright, I'd like to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ.
That's right.
We're the Chicago set of the SICARRI Israelites, coming in and week out to teach you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of indigenous and Negroid descent that you are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, and that you need to repent, keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and come back to the faith in Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Now today I'm going to deal with a very prevalent issue, of a very pertinent issue to our salvation. What one half of what constitutes our salvation. The question that gets brought out a lot: do we still have to keep the law? You know, after Yahweh Shai, he was that sacrifice on the cross for us.
Jesus Christ. They don't.
After Jesus Christ was that sacrifice on the cross for us, we have this question that's prevalent, you know, in the churches, in the religion: do you still have to keep the law of Moses, the law of the Most High God? And we're gonna find out, you know, after close inspection to the scriptures, that we most certainly do, and that is pertinent to our salvation. Now I'm gonna get this scripture, Matthew 5:17.
Matthew 5 verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
So this is red letter. This is Jesus Christ speaking, saying to think not that He has come to destroy the law or the prophets. The law and the prophets constituting the Old Testament, the law and the testimony. He said that He has come not to destroy it, but to do what?
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to fulfill. And you see the Christians, the Catholics, still play a game with this verse, and they'll say, you see, He came to fulfill the law. That means that the law is fulfilled and we don't have to keep it anymore. But we know exactly what he's talking about. The scriptures, the Bible, it rectifies itself. It lets us know what that fulfillment is talking about. Give me Acts 3:18. This is what it's talking about when Jesus Christ said that He came to fulfill the law. Because we know that Christ, He wasn't walking around with the New Testament, and He ain't come with no new commandment. You know, He came with that commandment of old. He was coming straight out the scripture, straight out the so-called Old Testament. So let's see what He came to fulfill.
This is Acts 3:18. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all His prophets, that Christ should suffer, He hath so fulfilled.
And that's what He came to fulfill. The prophecies of His suffering, the prophecies of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ is what He came to fulfill. And that's what He was talking about there in Matthew 5 and in Matthew 5:17. That's what He was talking about. But He hasn't fulfilled all the prophecies that were in the Old Testament about Him. So we know that the law is still standing to this day, because He still has to fulfill the prophecies, you know, in Genesis 49, in Revelation, the prophecies in Isaiah talking about you know, the day of the Lord and Him coming back and gathering the lost sheep, and all those prophecies. So right there in that one verse, we know that Jesus Christ is saying that the law is not done away with, but He's gonna go into it even deeper. Go back, Matthew 5:17.
Matthew 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
So to not destroy, but to fulfill. He's going to keep going.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
So he's saying till heaven and earth pass, till the heavens above and the earth that we're standing on right now passes and is done away with. The law, one jot or one tittle, that's talking about the smallest iota of the law shall not pass. So again, reinforcing that statement that the law still stands today, even after the death, burial, and resurrection. The laws of the Most High, all 613 of them stand. Even the law of sacrifice stands to this day, regardless if we could carry it out or not, because we know that law, those sacrifices have to be held in the temple that the Most High has chosen in Jerusalem. Regardless, if we had that temple, we would be carrying out that sacrificial law to this day, because Yahweh Shai said so. But keep going.
Till all be fulfilled.
Till all be fulfilled. And like I just said, the prophecies all hasn't been fulfilled yet.
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven.
So he went in talking about break one of the least commandments. You know, shaving your beard, marring your hairline, you know, wearing fringes, not eating pork, keeping the whole dietary law. Those are the least commandments that we could keep here in this kingdom. You know, having 100% clothing on. And he said, whosoever breaks one of those least commandments, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. And he talks about breaking it and teaching men so. And we know, we walk into these churches, we walk into, you know, you go into these Christian religions and different types of denominations. They teach men so, to not keep the law, that the law is done away with, that we could sin willfully, that all you need to do is confess Jesus Christ's name and you'll be forgiven for everything. But coming out his own mouth, out of Jesus Christ's own mouth, red letter, he's letting you know that we can't even break one of the least commandments. And there's 613 of them, so think about that. You can't break not one of those 613 commandments willfully and think that you're going to be great in the kingdom of heaven. He set a precedent for us. He told us, keep going on that actually, he's going to bring it out. He gave us one part of it. If you break it, you'll be the least in the kingdom of heaven. But what's on the other side of that?
He shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
You see, if you do and teach them, you teach your brother to keep the commandments, which by the way is showing love to your brother, you know, rebuking him on his sin and correcting him. You know, you'll be great in the kingdom of heaven. You know, and that's out of Christ's own mouth. That's red letter. So you gotta give thanks to those who are out on the streets, waking up their people and letting them know that these commandments still stand, that this is still pertinent to our salvation, and it's extremely pertinent. And if we want to get out of this wicked kingdom, that's one of those stipulations. We gotta get our act together. We gotta get back to keeping these commandments. You know, thus saith the Bible, thus saith Jesus Christ. Keep going on that.
Verse 20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
You see, the scribes and Pharisees, they get a bad rap. You know, these religions will throw dirt on their names, but we know that there was righteous Pharisees. You know, Paul himself was a self-proclaimed, I believe, a Pharisee or a Sadducee, but regardless, he belonged to those sects, and they were very, very stringent on keeping the law. They were masters of the law. So right here, Christ is saying that our righteousness has to exceed that of the masters of the law. So how could you possibly fulfill that without keeping the law at all? How does your righteousness exceed that of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all these sects if you're not carrying out the law? If you're continuing on in sin? You know, after that you've come into the knowledge the so-called Jewish man has right now. And it's not just the Gaza Strip that the Palestinians have right now. It's from the Nile to the Euphrates. That's the promised land, the land promised to Abraham and his descendants. You know, but this is prophesying that the heathen would appoint that land into their possession. Give me Luke 21 and 24.
This is Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Talking about the real Jews, that we were going to fall by the edge of the sword. We know this is prophesying 70 AD, and that we were going to be led into all nations, the diaspora of the Jews, specifically the southern kingdom.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, the land of the Most High, shall be trodden down of these other nations, till when?
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And you look around, you look at all these kingdoms ruling on earth, we are still in that time of the Gentiles. The time of the Gentiles is when the Gentiles are in rulership. And we know that Israel, the true Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are not in rulership yet. So this is still the time of the Gentiles. And we know that the land of Jerusalem will be trodden down of these other nations until that time be fulfilled.
Shalom, what's going on? It's your brother, Chief Priest Alazar Lawyer, aka the Gorilla Hebrew, and I'm just letting y'all know I just dropped my official clothing line, Urban Gorilla. Go to urbangorilla.com right now to check us out, man, and pick something up. That's URBNGRLA.com. We got all kind of items for men, women, children, even infants, as well as fragrance oil, smell goods. You can also check out Hebrew Israelite Clothing Co., another SICARRI business, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can hit up deaconsicari.com to get your plug on the scarves, the music, and the children's Bibles. Thanks for your time. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.
We are the children of the one Yahweh. The chosen. Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh.